Albus Dumbledore and Percy Weasley are two characters that have a lot in common, and I haven't seen anybody really talk about this. In this video, I'm going to go over how Percy Weasley is basically Albus Dumbledore in his early years. If you like this video, hit that like button. It will greatly help the channel with the algorithm. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, and you can also follow me on all of my socials, all of which are linked down below, and all of which house similar content that I make here on this channel. Now that I've said that, let's get the video started. To start it off, both of their first names, Albus and Percy, have 5 letters, and both had a middle name that was taken from a family member. One of Dumbledore's many middle names was Percival after his father, and Percy's middle name was Ignatius, taken from his great uncle. Percy and Albus also both had red hair. This was of course before Dumbledore's hair and beard turned white in his old age. Though I'm not really sure what happened with the Fantastic Beasts casting and also the Deathly Hallows casting, because both of those actors had brown hair. But anyway, that red hair is a defining trait for both of them when they were young. Adding to that, both boys had one younger sister and at least one younger brother. In Percy's case, he had 3 younger brothers, Ron, Fred, and George. Both of their sisters were also the youngest in the family, and both experienced a traumatic event that was out of Albus's and Percy's control. Ariana, Dumbledore's sister, was attacked by 3 Muggle boys, and Ginny was possessed by Lord Voldemort. When they went off to Hogwarts, both Albus and Percy were sorted into Gryffindor House, and they both went on to be incredibly ambitious students, and some might say overachievers. Both surpassed their younger siblings in school, Percy far outmatching Fred, George, Ron, and Ginny, and Albus surpassed his brother Aberforth, who he wasn't even sure could read, though that might have been a joke that Dumbledore told Harry. Both boys were top in their class for pretty much every subject, and both became prefects in their 5th year and head boy in their 7th year. They also did incredibly well on their OWLs and NEWTs, Percy passing every single subject that he took, and Dumbledore impressing his testers so much as he did things with a wand that they had never seen before.
His father killed those 3 muggles. It was quite the scandal.
Both resented their father for decisions they made that would ultimately make their life difficult. Albus's father Percival went after the 3 Muggle boys who attacked his sister Ariana, ultimately getting himself a life sentence in Azkaban, which followed Albus for much of his early life. And for Percy, Arthur's lack of ambition at his job led to the family being poor, and his father's stagnant growth at the Ministry of Magic held Percy back when he started working there. At least that's how Percy sees it. Meanwhile, their mothers, both of whom were stay-at-home moms, prioritized their siblings above them, as Mrs. Weasley had so many kids to take care of that the perfect Percy was sometimes neglected, Molly thinking he could take care of himself. And it was very similar for the perfect Albus, especially when his mother Kendra spent all of her time worrying about and caring for Ariana, who had become an Obscurial after the attack from the 3 Muggles. Both boys also had a love interest at a young age. For Percy, it was Penelope Clearwater, and for Albus, it was Gellert Grindelwald, and neither boy ended up with their first love in the end. Then this next part is where we really start to see how these 2 boys' stories really parallel each other. Both of them had a great ambition after graduating from Hogwarts. For Albus, it was taking over the world with Grindelwald, and for Percy, it was moving up in the ranks of the Ministry and becoming Minister of Magic. This ambition, and shall we say obsession, led to them turning their back on their family. Albus ignored and sort of abandoned his younger brother and sister once he started working on his plan with Gellert. Meanwhile, Percy turned his back on his entire family as he tried to move up in the Ministry. This also shows how both Albus and Percy were pretty power hungry, and they let that craving take over, leading to bad decisions. Both felt that their family held them back from what they were trying to do, so both boys dropped them. And we'll get back to that plot point later in the video. While pursuing this new plan, both Albus and Percy were used by somebody. Albus was used by Grindelwald, making Dumbledore do things he never would have done had it not been for Gellert. And Percy was used by the Ministry, and more specifically by 2 Ministers of Magic. Rufus Scrimgeour made Percy take him to the Burrow just so he could talk to Harry, and Cornelius Fudge gave him a job as junior assistant to the Minister, which he of course only got so that Fudge could keep a closer eye on his family. Nevertheless though, Percy became the youngest person to ever hold this important position, and later on in life, he became the head of the Department for Transportation, meaning he held 2 important roles in the Ministry of Magic. This is another similarity he has with Dumbledore, who also held 2 important roles in the Ministry as Chief Warlock of the Wizengamot and Supreme Mugwump. Dumbledore having this Mugwump position, which is basically the chairman for the International Confederation of Wizards, means that both he and Percy worked for this division at the exact same time, as Percy was the assistant to Barty Crouch, who was in charge of the Department of International Cooperation, meaning that both Albus and Percy helped organize the Triwizard Tournament in some way or another. And to add to that, both served as judges for the tournament, specifically during the second task, as Percy filled in for an ill Barty Crouch. Jumping to the next book for the Order of the Phoenix, both Percy and Albus had something in common, as they both ignored Harry for the entire novel. During Harry's trial, Percy didn't even look at Harry, completely ignoring him. And this is the same thing Dumbledore did all year to Harry as well, refusing to look him in the eye. Though for very different reasons. Albus did it to protect Harry, while Percy did it because, well, he's just a dick. Looking at some more parallels for their stories, as their story progressed, both Albus and Percy were hesitant to join a fight. Dumbledore was hesitant to fight Grindelwald, putting the duel where he defeated him off for a very long time. And Percy was hesitant to join the Order of the Phoenix, waiting until the last second to do so when the Battle of Hogwarts was beginning. During that battle, Percy of course witnessed his brother Fred's death right in front of him. This crucial plotline is another thing that he and Dumbledore have in common, as Dumbledore witnessed his sister Ariana's death right in front of him as well, which happened when a three-way duel broke out between himself, Aberforth, and Grindelwald. It's also worth noting that Percy was fighting beside his sibling before tragedy struck, just as Albus fought with his brother Aberforth before tragedy struck. Losing their siblings caused extreme guilt for both Percy and Dumbledore, but both got justice for their siblings' death, Dumbledore taking down Grindelwald, and Percy helping take down Lord Voldemort. It was a little bit different for Albus though, because he actually could have been the one who killed Ariana in the chaos, but nevertheless, he took down the person that escalated the situation that led to her demise. After their siblings' death, the two of them were better people because of what they went through, and both boys decided to put their obsession with power aside. They both took on rather large roles, but roles that didn't have much stake compared to the positions that they were originally pursuing. Instead of taking over the world, Dumbledore became the headmaster of Hogwarts because he thought that was all he could handle, and Percy became the head of the Department of Magical Transportation, which does not include many life-altering choices for the Wizarding World the way the Minister of Magic job would have. I find it really interesting to see how two different characters from two different generations can have so much in common in their storyline. It makes you wonder, was this done on purpose by Rowling, or was it just a coincidence? Either way, it's fun to look at how these two characters parallel each other so much. Let me know in the comments below what you think of all of my theories and thoughts and things I put forth in this video. I'm very excited to read what you guys have to say. That's all I have for you guys this week though, so I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. You can follow me on Instagram to see more of my personal life, like my cute dog Loki, and some behind the scenes movie flame stuff. I also do similar content on TikTok and Twitter that I do here on this channel, so if you like what I do here, check them out. All the handles are right below me, and links are in the description. Over here are my wonderful patrons. If you want to be featured on the next video, plus get a few other perks, become a patron today. As always, if you liked the video, hit that like button and subscribe, and look out for more great movie flame videos on the way.